We usually think of languages as these organic things, right? They just happen. They evolve over centuries. But what if a language could be deliberately built? What if it could be engineered for greatness, all in the name of national pride? Well, that's exactly what happened in 16th century France.
So imagine someone asking you that question. Seriously, is your language good enough? Because back in the 1500s, if you asked French poets and thinkers, the answer was a big, frustrating no. There was this huge divide. On one side, you had the heavyweights, Greek and Latin. These were seen as powerful, rich, serious languages, the language of culture, of philosophy, of politics. And then there was French. It was seen as the common tongue, kind of crude, the language of the street, of popular songs, but definitely not the language of empires.
So as you can imagine, this created this massive cultural anxiety, this sort of national inferiority complex. How could France ever be a truly great nation if its own mother tongue was seen as second-rate?
This wasn't just some vague feeling, though. This was a real problem that needed a champion. And in 1549, one young poet decided to step into the ring and do something about it, with a plan that was, frankly, revolutionary.
That poet's name was Joachim du Bellay, and his weapon of choice wasn't a sword, it was a book. He called it the Defense and Illustration of the French language, but honestly, it was less a book and more a call to arms, a manifesto for a linguistic revolution.
Du Bellay kicks things off with a really powerful diagnosis of the problem. His core idea was simple, but so profound. A language's greatness isn't something it's born with, it's something that's made.
And this quote right here, it gets to the absolute heart of his argument. Du Bellay was saying, look, Greek and Latin aren't just naturally better. No way. They became great because people, poets, thinkers, leaders, worked at it. They built them up through artifice and industry. Their greatness was engineered. So why was French so far behind? Well, Du Bellay points the finger straight at history. He argued that when the Roman Empire conquered places, it wasn't just with armies. It was with culture and with language, and they left nations like France in a state of linguistic subjugation for centuries.
So the real goal, the ultimate prize, was to win back what you might call cultural sovereignty. It meant freeing the French language from the massive shadow of the classics and proving it could be a powerful artistic language all on its own.
Okay, so Du Bellay didn't just complain about the problem, right? He came up with a prescription, a clear, actionable roadmap for how to fix it.
He laid out this four-step plan for the poets of France. Step 1, reject. Forget all those simple, popular songs and poems. Just leave them behind. Step 2, immerse. Dive deep into the Greek and Latin masters. Read them, study them, live in them. Step 3, elevate. Start writing about serious stuff. Praises of God, stories of heroes, the grand order of the universe. No more trivial topics. And finally, step 4, enrich the language itself, blending these big, important ideas with beautiful, agreeable words.
And what's so fascinating about this is how kind of conservative the method was. The goal was totally revolutionary, build a brand new future for French. But the way to get there was to go backward, to return to the seriousness and the gravity of the ancient world.
And let's be super clear here. This wasn't just about writing better poetry. Oh no. This literary project was tied to a much, much grander ambition. It was about building a cultural empire to match France's growing political power. And you can hear it right here in Du Bellay's own words. He's making a direct link between France's political destiny and its linguistic destiny. He believed that as France grabbed the reins of sovereignty on the world stage, its language had to rise to the occasion and become just as powerful as Greek and Latin.
So, when you boil it all down, the entire mission was to engineer this massive shift in cultural power. You had Greek and Latin way up here, with all the prestige, and French was way down here. The goal was to completely flip that script and put French right up at the top.
And he wasn't doing this alone. Du Bellay was part of a whole group of poets, this kind of poetic squad called the Pléiade, and together they took his plan and they ran with it. They consciously and deliberately started creating a whole new kind of French literature.
And the result? It was huge. It was absolutely transformative. They pulled it off. They elevated their language, they created new forms, and they proved once and for all that French could be a language of beauty, power, and gravity. A whole new era had begun.
So this whole story from the 16th century kind of leaves us with a big question for our own time, doesn't it? Back then, power came from imitating the classics and building a political empire. But today, what gives a language its influence? Is it economic power? Is it tech? Is it pop culture? It's just a powerful reminder that the languages we speak are shaped by so much more than just grammar.